Welcome to Variant, everybody. I've said it on the show before, but since I don't do episodes on them too often, I wanted to reiterate. I'm a huge fan of the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. There was like a 2-year stretch as a kid where I liked them more than DC and Marvel characters. With that said, I want to talk about one of the newest entries into the Power Rangers universe, Tommy Oliver's Master Morpher, which was introduced to us for the first time ever last week in the Power Rangers Super Ninja Steel 25th anniversary episode titled Dimensions in Danger. That's right, for those of you who didn't know, 2018 is the year the Power Rangers are celebrating 25 years of being on the air. Meaning I was 6 years old when the first episode of Power Rangers aired on Fox. Anyway, you may be wondering, what was Tommy Oliver, the original Green Ranger and White Ranger played by Jason David Frank, doing on an episode of Power Rangers Super Ninja Steel? Well, remember, this was the 25th anniversary episode of Power Rangers, so there was a bunch of guest appearances from Legacy Rangers. Like Catherine, the Pink Turbo Ranger, Rocky, who was the second Mighty Morphin Red Ranger, Coda, the Dino Charge Blue Ranger, Wesley, the Time Force Red Ranger, Tommy, who was the original Green Ranger, and so on and so forth. Anyway, I think you guys get the point. There was a lot of Power Rangers from almost every era in this episode. This particular episode needs all these Rangers because of a villain called Lord Draven, who wants to destroy the multiverse. In order to do so, he kidnapped a bunch of Power Rangers throughout the multiverse and made Robo Rangers out of them, which are robot clones. Now, some of you may be like, that's all fine and dandy, Arris, but you're not telling us about Tommy Oliver's Master Morpher. Well, everything I'm telling you sets up for that, so bear with me, I'm about to get into it, like literally right now. We first see the Master Morpher when Tommy uses it against his robotic clone during Draven's invasion. The two of them fight in their civilian form for a bit, and after coming to a standstill, we get the first mention of the Master Morpher.
You may look like me, but unless you got a Master Morpher, you ain't nothing but a cheap copy.
Now at this point, most of us fans were like, what the heck is a Master Morpher? Which we soon find out. After the real Tommy mentions the Master Morpher, his clone morphs into the Dino Thunder Black Ranger. So Tommy follows suit, but he does it with his Master Morpher, which looks almost identical to his Green Ranger one. Now this is kind of weird because as Power Ranger fans know, the Dino Thunder Morpher is completely different from the Green Ranger Morpher. They look nothing alike. But the real Tommy gets his butt handed to him fairly quickly, and his Dino Thunder helmet cracks, exposing the left side of his face. So he stands up and says, there's lots of things that I can do that you can't, and then morphs into the Red Zeo Ranger. It's at this point it finally clicked with me 100%, and my mind was blown as I realized the Master Morpher means Tommy can morph into any of the Rangers he's ever been, which is all kinds of awesome and insane. For those of you who don't know, Jason David Frank and his character Tommy Oliver has been 5 different Rangers over the course of the Power Rangers TV series. The Green Ranger, White Ranger, Red Zeo Ranger, Red Turbo Ranger, and the Black Dino Thunder Ranger. With that said, he's technically been 6 different Rangers over the course of his career, as most recently, an alternate reality version of Tommy Oliver was revealed to be Lord Draken in the Boom Studios Power Rangers comic book. But I digress. He continues to fight his clone while sporadically morphing into the different Rangers he's been over the years. Minus the Red Turbo Ranger for some reason, and obviously Lord Draken, as that's an evil alternate version of himself. So we see him say Tiger Zord, White Ranger power, and morph into the White Ranger and fight in that form for a little bit, before finally saying Dragon Zord, Green Ranger power, and morphing into the first Ranger he's ever been, the frickin' Green Ranger, which of course is the form he defeats his clone with. And easily too, he did it in like 2 punches and 2 kicks. Then later on in the episode, when Tommy was with some other Legacy Rangers while morphed into the Green Ranger, Lord Draven shot one of his arrows into the dimensional tear that was in the sky. So Tommy morphed into the White Ranger and summoned the White Ninja Falcon Zord to grab the arrow out of the sky with the Falcon Zord's talons and redirect it at Draven, destroying him. Now with that said, we don't know the origin of how the Master Morpher came to be, we just know that Tommy Oliver has it. We also know it allows him to access all of the Rangers he's ever been. Although we didn't see him morph into the Red Turbo Ranger, but that could just be because he didn't want to, or maybe he can't access the Red Turbo Ranger power for some reason. We don't really know one way or another yet. We also know it looks near identical to Tommy's original Green Ranger Power Morpher. And we saw that when he calls forth a Ranger power, the symbol on the power coin changes to match that specific Ranger power he called out. Some of the differences on the Morpher itself is the replacement of the Power Rangers lettering that used to be around where the power coin would go. It's now replaced with the same design seen on the chest of the Zeo Ranger suits, and where the power coins would originally go is all green now. Speaking of power coins, the Master Morpher seems to not need a physical power coin, as it's empty with just the aforementioned green space until Tommy calls forth a Ranger power, at which point the coin materializes inside the Morpher. Unfortunately, however, that's all we know for now about the Master Morpher, but one thing is for sure, introducing a Morpher that allows Tommy Oliver to morph into any of the Rangers he's been was a genius move and made for some of the best fan service we've seen in the Power Rangers franchise in a long time. I know he's my favorite Power Ranger, so seeing him morph into every Ranger he's been minus the Red Turbo Ranger was epic. With all that said, let me know in the comment section what you think of the Master Morpher, or what you think would be a cool addition to the next Power Rangers anniversary episode. But that's going to bring another episode of Variant to a close. But remember to check out variantcomics.com, as well as all of our social media. Links for that is in the description below. But I'll see you guys next time when I talk about all things comics.